Have you had one of those moments where something is not quite obvious, then something else clicks together and suddenly it's obvious? Well, this recipe is like that. Let's see how to make a beautiful cheese sauce and make some great cheese fries. This is part of my fun fries collab, and I'm looking forward to all of your recipes as well for this collaboration. Let's get started. Now, I've shown you a few recipes where I'm deep frying French fries, mostly curly fries. Check that out down below if you have missed it. Today I'll be oven baking fries and making these beautiful cheese fries. So you can see here, my fries have already been cut. I've shown you multiple times how to cut fries, so I won't go through it again. But if you want to see my full recipe for oven baked fries or fried fries, then check that out down below as well. But they've soaked long enough, most of the starch has come out, so let's go ahead and drain this. And I've drained these fries completely, and I have a large pot of water coming up to a boil. Now while that comes up to a boil, let's get started on the cheese sauce. And for the sauce, I'll just add about 1.5 tablespoons of butter and an equal ratio, 1.5 tablespoons of flour as well. We'll just wait for the butter to melt completely and combine that with the flour to make a nice roux. Roux is just a combination of flour and butter, which forms sort of like a dough, which we will cook out to cook that raw flour. And the color will darken ever so slightly, but there's no way. We do not want to turn this brown by any way. And now we have our milk. So 1.5 tablespoons butter and flour and 1.5 cups of milk. It just works out really well number wise. So I'm adding some cold milk, add a little bit at a time, and then bring that roux together. Work out any lumps, and trust me, no matter what, all lumps will come out, so don't you worry. Always add it a bit at a time. It makes the whisking process much easier. And I think it's safe to add the rest as well. And if you didn't guess it, this is the bechamel sauce, and it's the perfect starting point to make this beautiful cheese sauce for our fries. Now, I have made a recipe on bechamel sauce. You know how to make my oven baked fries, but it might not be super obvious on what you can do with these two elements to bring them together like this. And what you have to understand when it comes to lumps and bechamel is if you do it enough times, you'll see it, but as soon as the sauce heats up enough to start to simmer, any lumps just works itself out as long as you push it to work it out by whisking it and not ever stopping until it's smooth. Alrighty, the water is boiling pretty well. Now add in your potatoes. I'm gonna add it all of them. Now these will boil for about 3 to 5 minutes. The idea is to partly cook the fries, cook the potato part of it first, and once it's cooked, we can oil it up, crisp it up, and turn the potatoes into fries. So you can see now the bechamel part of the sauce is looking really good, and at this point I would pause the sauce, set this aside until the fries are almost ready. Now around the 3 to 5 minute point, you will start smelling that classic tomato starchy flavor, and at that point just drain all of these potatoes because this will be perfect for the next stage. Now you know that the potatoes are ready when, if you pick it up, it's actually kind of soft. It's not like rigid, it's actually kind of flexible, as you can see. You can even see some translucency on the edges, and the potato basically is cooked at this stage, but it's not super soft that it's gonna break as I handle it. So now the next stage is coating it in oil and then baking it in the oven. So first, pat the fries dry with the help of some paper towels. Just set them all aside and place them on a paper towel. And we really want to do that because otherwise the oil will not stick to the potatoes and then not make them crispy, and we want crispy fries. Once you've done that, put it back into a dry, clean bowl, and you can season it with salt at this stage as well, and then very carefully, gently
mix this so that you don't break any of those cooked potatoes.
And now throw them onto a baking sheet, some parchment paper, arrange them in one single layer. Now place this in an oven heating at 475.
It'll take you between 20 to 40 minutes to get some nice crispy fries. Just make sure to turn it to cook evenly.
Now one thing to keep in mind with a cheese sauce like this is that you make it when your fries are basically almost all the way there and you're just keeping them warm. Because while it is possible to reheat a sauce like this, it takes a lot more patience than to actually make it fresh. And there is a chance that it might curdle even if you are super careful.
And that's why we just avoid all of that. We saved some time earlier by preparing a base bechamel without seasoning. But now since the fries are just in keep warm state, we'll bring the bechamel back up to a simmer and then start seasoning with some salt,
then a bit of pepper, and just a hint of cayenne pepper. Mix this well. Look at the thickness of that sauce. It looks super great. I'll show you how to judge the sauce is ready, and that is by grabbing a spoon, getting the back of it coated, and then swiping it off. See, nothing is just pouring down to cover that gap. It's nice and thick. Now turn off your heat, and I'm gonna add in my cheese. So I'm using some old yellow cheddar, and then a mix of mozzarella, some garlic break cheese, and Asiago. Add that in there, and you're mixing this off the heat because we don't want to heat the cheese directly. The oils will get released, kind of like a greasy pizza. Nobody wants that. You just want it to melt, and the residual heat in that pan is just enough to get a nice melt going, to have a beautiful cheesy sauce, as you can see. And the mozzarella is important to have an element of the cheese bowl, right, that we are all looking for.
and trust me, it's not as easy as you think to get this consistency when you reheat. If you do have extra, I would suggest use it in mac and cheese instead.
Here are my fries that have been waiting in the oven for us, nice and warm, nice and crispy. It's time to enjoy it.
But I have something right before I do the big reveal.
Now, big shout out goes out to Deborah from Deborah's Delicious Dishes. Pizza fries looked amazing. You know I'm gonna love those. You're gonna love this as well. And I wanna see all of your recipes.
And while you got a short sneak peek of it just a few moments ago, here's what you do to plate it. Pile up your fries, pile on your cheese, and then just enjoy it, topped with loads of chives. Now you can put as much cheese as you want, you can layer it if you want, but most importantly, I want you to enjoy it, and I want you to enjoy this collaboration as well. So be sure to hit subscribe, hit that bell icon, give your submissions #funfries. This collab is full of fun, full of fries, and I want to see you. So I'll see you on the next one.